Today, I'm going to take you through my 4-part ARTA music release strategy. Now, this is not only designed to build a fan base, but also to monetize. Now, I am using this with artists and labels in Nashville right now. So I promise you, this can work. But first, in order to maximize the strategy, I want you to answer 3 simple questions. And the reason for this is because most artists get stuck in and they're on their way. The problem is they don't know where we're going. So the first question is, what is your goal? What are we working towards? Do you want to tour the world? Are you building a merch brand? Do you want to just quit your job? Is this about money? Now, if you said yes, 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 and yes, that's actually the wrong answer, because of course you want all of those things. The problem is now you're confusing. It's like saying I want to go to 4 destinations. Well, how do you do that? Because you've got to start somewhere. So we need to think about the priorities. Let me give you an example. If you said, well, I want to tour the world, well, in which case we need to be attractive to venues, to promoters, and to live agents, which means your social media content needs to reflect that. It needs to show off your show because people don't have an imagination. Whereas if you said, no, this is about building a merch brand. I want to build something digitally. I don't want to go on tour, but I do want to monetize by housing my own merch. Well, in which case you need to show off the product. You need to show off the merch whilst you're building the community, rather than having this idea of if you build it, they will come. Yes, I got to 100,000 followers. Yes, I got to 1 million. Maybe I can monetize it. But at which point, when you say, by the way, I've got a hat, they go, oh yeah, okay, you've got a hat. Whereas if you were wearing that hat on 300, 400, 500 pieces of content, you are putting it into their brain time and time again. And then when you say, hey guys, there's a new deal out on my hat, they're like, I recognize that hat. I want that hat. And number 2 is, where is the treasure? And by treasure, I mean, where is your skill set? Because we are going to utilize your skill set in the best way to build the audience. For example, if you are the type of artist that can pick up an instrument, perform live, and the entire room will go quiet, and you get that kind of hair on your arm, standing up type of moment, then we need to utilize it. Whereas if you say, that's just not me, but I'm a writer, I'm writing songs every day, I'm like, there's the treasure. We can use that treasure to build an audience. Or you might say, well, it's more about my personality. I'm able to kind of bring something to life with my personality. Or you might say, I'm kind of a producer. I have very high standards when it comes to production. All of these are ways that we can build an audience. But what people tend to do instead is they tend to look around and go, what do I think I should be doing? Because what are other people doing? But these are people with different skill sets. A few weeks back, I was sat with an artist who is in the middle of a 10-week radio promotion tour. And he said, as I'm doing all of this flying around the country, should I be vlogging? And I thought, I don't know, are you good at vlogging? If you're Casey Neistat, 100%, because this is going to take off. Whereas if you've never vlogged before, you're not really a great storyteller and you're not really good at editing, producing, or filming, then no, don't do that because it's going to waste your time. So we need a strategy that's going to revolve around you and your skill set and not trends online, unless your superpower is those trends. And number 3 is, who is your audience? But more importantly, what does your audience want? Because artists be saying things like, I don't do covers. And I think, yeah, fuck the audience. Who gives a shit about them? And they say, daily content. Well, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, yeah, fuck them. We don't need to do that. Who gives a shit what they want? It's the wrong attitude. Don't forget, your audience will build if you look after them. Whereas if you're saying, I don't want to do that. I can't be asked to do this. I just want to turn up once a month and go, by the way, my new song is out. And then I'm gone. I'm a shadow. And no one's going to see me until the next month when I'm promoting my next song. Is that going to work? No. Not unless you've written the ultimate song, which is probably going to be in the charts for the next 15 weeks. But other than that, we have to look after the audience. If we're going to look after the audience, we should probably know what it is that they want. Now, I can already hear the sound of 100 people angrily typing. I'm registering the disgust in your comments. Kurt Cobain never had to do this. Yes, he did. He absolutely did. Of course, he didn't have to do TikTok. It didn't exist. But go on YouTube after this video and just go and search for Nirvana doing an interview at Reading Festival in 1991. And he's so cool. The whole band is there. And they're like, yeah, rebellious. Fuck the system. Yeah. But he's using the system to rebel against the system. And in it, he talks about an interview he did. And he was like, yeah, it was like 9 a.m. and I was hungover. Yeah, he was still there, wasn't he? He was still doing the interview. He was still using the mainstream media. And you could see in his face, it was painful. I don't want to do this. I want to get up on stage. I want to rock the house. Do I want to be sat talking to an interview? No. Do I want to be sat doing interviews tomorrow? No. Am I going to? Yes, because that's the system that was placed in front of him at the time. TikTok Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, social media content. That is this version of what was in 1991. Now, you can go back to 1991. Kurt Cobain would have been like, oh, I bet Led Zeppelin didn't have to do this. No, but they would have had to do something else. That's the key bit. Whatever's in front of you at the time, that's the bit that you get the attention. Okay, so let's look at this 4-part strategy. And before we do, I know that someone's going to comment and go, the strategy actually starts at 8 minutes 42. Instantly, you fucked it. You failed. Because if you cannot watch the beginning of how you're going to look after the audience and you're just going, just give me the punchline, how is that possibly going to help your music career? So, let's get started. So the 4 parts is ARTA. With the first part, A, being for attention. Now, there is a fallacy that attention is really difficult to get. Well, let me tell you, attention is the easiest thing in the world. It's the easiest it has ever been in the entire world. Go back 20 years, try and get on TV. Go back 25 years, try and get on radio. Try and get into magazines. Whereas now, we can make content and post it and get a certain amount of views, a certain amount of attention. Now, that's not the problem. The problem is people's expectation. Unless it's got a cool milli on it, then it's a complete flop. It's a failure. I put this thing out and it only got 5,000 views, or I put this out and it only got 1,000 views. Okay, but it's 1,000 real people. You are getting attention. So that's the first step. Imagine if we walked outside, walked up to a complete stranger and said, you don't know who I am, but I would like to play you my new single. They said yes, they listened to the new single and they said, this is amazing. Where can I stream this? I want this, I want it now, tell me all about it. You would be buzzing. You would be like, that's amazing. That person literally gave me the excited face and they want to listen to my music. But when it's numbers on a screen, we're like 200, 300, 500, 1,000. Well, it's just not enough. So here's a home truth. A couple of weeks back, I was sat in a label meeting for an artist and this word viral kept coming up. Viral, 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 viral. And after a while, I was like, with this word viral, can we just stop a second? Because if you want to go viral, I promise you, I can make you go viral. I promise. And they were like, oh, great. And I was like, the problem here is you don't want to do the thing that makes you go viral. Because if you do, I'm going to throw you out of a helicopter, or I'm going to drop you in Los Angeles and I'm going to make you walk from Los Angeles to New York, which is like 2,875 miles, and we'll do some videos on the way and tell the story, but that will go viral. And they were like, I don't want to do any of that. No, what you want to do is you want to walk down the street for 15 seconds singing your song, and you want there to be like 1 million views on it. So therefore, the song either has to be really, really, really good, you have to have a certain amount of luck, and you have to have some context which really tells the story. Everything in the stars aligning has to happen for that to happen to you. So we should stop thinking about this viral. Viral is an outcome. If it happens, we high five, we go again. That's not the game. Because even if you do have a piece of content that goes viral, you're missing out the next 3 stages of this strategy. So therefore, what happens? You come to me and go, what do we do next? I don't know, try and do it again, I guess, because one piece of content with 1 million views might get you some more followers, but it doesn't create a fan base. That's what consistency does. So the moral of the story when it comes to A and attention is, if you want bigger numbers, do bigger shit. If not, play the game, be consistent, write good stories, make sure you've got context, make sure the production is good, make sure you're better than most of the rest of the stuff on TikTok, and all of a sudden, you'll get a little bit more of a boost, and with a bit of luck, you'll get bigger numbers. But what does that mean? That means we need to go to the second part of the strategy, which is retention. We've had attention. People are going, I saw it. They might even have said, I heard it. They might have even gone to Spotify and went, yeah, I did. I listened to it. Cheers. But that doesn't mean they're necessarily coming back and listening to it time and time again. It doesn't mean they're hitting that follow button because they've seen it so many times. You've built that familiarity and they're saying to themselves, I want more. I love you. I want more of your content. So it's not attention that we want. It's retention. It's making sure people are coming back time and time again. So retention is based on connection, seeing something going, oh, this is a bit of me, and then also adding value. And the value is usually some kind of emotional-based content. How do you make me feel when I watch your content? If I feel something, I'll probably want to feel that again, so therefore I'm more likely to come in and start looking through your content. And if you make me feel something a couple of times, I'm much more likely to hit the follow button and keep coming back. So in order to master retention, we need to answer one major question, which is, what do I get? Not what do you get? It's your content, you're posting it, I'm coming in, I'm seeing something. What is it I get? And more importantly, what will I get tomorrow? What will I get the next day? What will I get next week? If you can answer that question, and I like the answer, I'll keep coming back. And I will hit the follow button, because all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that sounds good. The problem is most people aren't thinking about what do I get. They're just going, oh, you get me promoting my single. Pfft, not interested. That's boring. I'm not interested. If you said, oh, you get me performing tracks in different ways every single day. Oh, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll hit the follow button. Oh, you get my new songs because I'm writing new songs every single day. And some of them are fun and some of them are sad and some of them are funny, but I post them every single day. Oh, okay. Well, I like your talent and I'd like to hear some of these new songs. Okay, I'm going to come back and build that familiarity and hit that follow button. So step 1, A, is for attention. Step 2, R, is for retention. Now, if we can master this, not only are we getting the attention and people are coming in, but they're going around in the system enough times so that then they're thinking, hey, I don't want to lose you, I'm going to hit the follow button. So step 1 is A, attention. Step 2 is R, retention. Now, if we can master those two things, the attention is bringing in the numbers, the retention is making sure people are sticking around, seeing more content, and more likely to hit the follow button. One of the artists we work with this week got 2,000 new followers in 24 hours. Not because of one piece of content. That was totally organically. It was because when the people came in, they saw other pieces of content and said, I relate to this, I connect with it, I'm getting the emotion, I like it, I want more. So if the strategy up to this point isn't working, before we go further, we go back to the beginning. If you've got an attention problem, then we need to look at the content. This is not a social media algorithm problem. This is, over time, a content creation problem. It might be the hook, it might be the story, it might be the context, it might be what you're doing, it might be the production values, it might be the song. Either way, we need to tweak this and try and find a way to get more eyes on the prize, even if you are putting some money into it, which leads into the retention. If you're getting plenty of attention, but no one's actually buying into this, no one's hitting the follow button, then you need to change your offer. What do I get tomorrow? What do I get the next day? Well, you can change that. You can do different things. So you need to experiment until the attention and the retention are starting to work. Now, the third part of the strategy is T. Now, T is for transfer. You might have heard me talk about my box system. Box 1 is the audience who has no clue who you are, but they probably will like you if they hear you. Box 2, a much smaller box, people who do know who you are, they just don't really care. Box 3 are people who really like your stuff. They're not fans or super fans, but they do enjoy your content and they might listen to your song. They might even come to a gig. And Box 4, the tiniest of tiny boxes, is the fan who is going to shout from the rooftops. They're going to buy everything, comes to your gig. Here's one thing, is people can get to Box 4 relatively easy, but they can also leave Box 4 relatively easy. They can watch a bunch of content and then go, yeah, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. I don't really care. I'm back in Box 3. Then I'm back in Box 2. Now, you're not going to go back to Box 1, but it means you can go Box 1, Box 2, Box 3, Box 4, Box 3, Box 2. So we need to make sure that when people get to Box 4, we are capitalizing on them at the best time that they're in your social media. Now, there are plenty of ways of doing this, but my suggestion is owning the data. Now, one of the things we could do is potentially start an email list. Now, here is where record labels go wrong. Record labels will do this thing where they go, yeah, we've got an email list, and when the new single comes out, we'll just throw an email out to all of the people who are on the email marketing list, and we'll just say, hey, the new single's coming out. Well, that's boring, isn't it? What if we did something different? What if we made the email list, or we made the email strategy the product itself? So all of a sudden it kind of goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a funnel. There's something that takes people from Box 4 into the email list. Now, the reason why this works is because now you own the data, and everyone keeps telling me that TikTok's about to blow up and go away and we're never going to see it ever again. Hurrah. And if that's the case, we need to own some data, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Now, if we own the data, not only can we now get in touch with people, but even better than that, when we're sending these email marketing newsletters out, anyone who opens it is probably going to read more than the first second or two. So therefore, if you make a product which is the email, bear with me, that means the product is, let's say, all of the songs you've got on your phone. Oh, I've got 100 songs that I've written that no one's ever heard. That's a product. Why can't we put that and just say, hey, every week I'm going to put one of my new songs into the email, and I'm going to do a performance, which I'm just going to sit and do a performance of my track, and I'm just going to put the link on it. Whatever you want it to be. Oh, any pictures that I've got from that week, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll put a little diary in it. Whatever you want that to be, that people who want to be that close to you in box 4, the fans are going, oh, I'd love that. I get a little bit closer to you and I get something of value for free, and all I've got to do is add my email and open that email. It's a no-brainer for box 4. Now, here's where things get a little bit clever, because once we've done that, then we go on to part 4, which is A for action. Attention, retention, transfer people to somewhere where we can get hold of them and we can communicate with them, and then we have the call to action. Now, what's brilliant about this is anyone who's opening your email is going to be reading, and at which point, at the end of it, you can now do something that you cannot do on social media. You can sell. On social media, try it. Go and say, hey guys, my new single's kind of gone. Your algorithm drops like a fly, a dead fly. It just doesn't work. And you do the same thing. Hey, I got a new hat. Gone. Hey, I got a new t-shirt. Gone. Whereas if you say, hey guys, here's my content, here's my value, and people go, I love this, it's fantastic, and there's a link in the description which has all of the details. Hey, if you want an email which tells you my new songs and this, that, and the other, not salesy, giving an actual product, and people says, well, that sounds quite nice, I quite like that. Then all of a sudden they put their email list in. Now, when you're opening the email, it says, and this is what I did this week, and here's my performance of this track, and hey, I've just written this brand new song, I'd love to know what you guys think. And also, do you know what, people have been asking me about this hat all week, and I just thought, do you know what, why don't I just print 50 of them off and only sell them to the people who are in the fan base for 10% off. And at which point people go, ooh, I would like that hat actually. That is quite cool. You've got my attention. You provided me with the value. And now I'm thinking about what can I have from a value point of view, from a monetizing point of view, what can I have from this email? We have to get this idea out of our heads that selling is for corporations and capitalist pigs. It isn't. If I'm a fan and I'm going to see my favorite artist at a gig and I see a t-shirt, I go, ooh, I want the t-shirt. I'm not going, oh, I can't believe they're making me buy this. I'm going, no, I want one. I want to show it off. I want the t-shirt. Yes, I know it's twice as expensive as if I bought a normal t-shirt online. That's not the point. This is about me and the way I feel and remembering this moment right now. So we're not forcing anyone to buy it. What we are doing is saying, here's a bunch of value. Oh, by the way, my new album's out. Oh, by the way, my new merch line's just dropped. Oh, by the way, tickets for the new up-and-coming tour's out. And because I love you guys so much and you're the closest to me, I'm offering you 10% discount if you use this code. So what we're doing is we're building the attention, making sure people know who you are, building the value, getting that retention. Then when people get to the point where they are really enjoying your stuff and becoming a fan, then we are providing those people a special place, a special community which provides them value. And oh, by the way, there'll be plenty of cool stuff that you can do or buy should you want to, and they will want to. Now, lastly, where does Spotify fit into this strategy? Well, I'm glad I asked. Spotify is an outcome. Spotify isn't the goal. Because if that's the goal, you better have a lot of songs, a big library, and a really good strategy to make sure you get millions and millions of listeners every month, because there's no other income, there's no other return on investment. Whereas, if we concentrate on building the audience, building the fan base, that's the number that really matters, then we can port them anywhere we want. And at which point, when we say, hey, by the way, my new single's coming out, where are they going to go? They're going to go to Spotify. Nobody pretty much in the entire world is going, I would listen to your song, but I just haven't got a clue where it is. We know where Spotify is, or whatever DSP we're using. We know. When you say my music's out now, we go, I know where to get it. I don't have to go and walk down the road and meet a guy called Keith who's going to take me to an underground lair and give me on CD. I know, I go to Spotify. That's where I listen to music. Now, the best bit about this strategy is every single piece of the puzzle is changeable and you can improve on it. Are you getting attention? No, we can change that up. Are you getting attention? Yes. Are people coming back for more? No. Well, we can change that bit up. Are we getting lots of people who are coming on board and our numbers are really, really growing, but I'm not making any money whatsoever? Yes, I can change that bit up. I can give more value to the transfer. And then I've got loads of people. How do I actually make the money? Well, we give them the best product that they will absolutely want and love and be prepared to buy. Everyone's a winner. The best thing about this strategy is we've broken things down. We don't have to worry about selling things to people who aren't there. We can break it down into, hang on, how do I use my music to get attention? How can I make social media content using my music and do this consistently to build familiarity so I can start to build fans? How can I filter those fans? And most importantly, how can I actually monetize this? And when I say money, I don't mean just financial money, although that is a big part of this. I mean opportunities. If you want to go and get a live agent, you're going to need a social media following. If you're going to want the biggest gigs, you're going to need a social media following. If you want a manager, you're probably going to need a social media following. The same goes for a label. The same goes for anyone else. So therefore, we have to break this down and start off with attention and retention. And then from there, that's when we can start funneling this audience, making that fan base, giving them what they want, and giving you opportunities and money. So let me know your thoughts. I want to know where you are on the ARTA strategy, because maybe I'll be able to help. I'll be in the comments as much as I can. So feel free to let me know any problems that you've got. Let's start figuring this stuff out together. Otherwise, do me a favor. If you can hit that like, hit that subscribe button, come and be a part of this community because we're doing it every single week. Otherwise, look after yourselves. And I'll see you next week.